Welcome to the Just Pull the Trigger podcast, hosted by me, Paul.
And me, Lee. This is the show that discusses the trials, tribulations and triumphs of the small business owner. On today's episode, we're chatting to Pete Goldring, the founder of Happystride, a clothing company for runners supplying bold, fun and colourful designs. In the show, we discuss why Happystride isn't just focused on sales, but also creating a positive impact in the running community, how having a day job can be the best growth tactic for your business, and find out why Paul and Pete have been thinking about each other in the shower. All this to come in Just Pull the Trigger.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Pete, welcome.
Cheers for having me on, lads. I'm very privileged to be your first guest.
Episode 1. You just finished a ultra, right?
Yes. So
Did an ultra.
Did the Epping 50k last Saturday. Obviously had your drinks on
Yeah, it was my birthday
Friday
tonight.
night. I had a few 0%. And it was really good. I haven't done an ultra, did the 50k last year, the same race, and it went really well actually. Did it in 4 hours, 39 minutes. Started in Wanstead out to Epping, through Epping Forest, which was really nice. And then, went really well. I've just felt really good on the day. Sometimes in ultras, you just don't know how it's going to go. And I took it easy, sort of eased into the race and then sort of sped up through the middle. And then last few miles were a bit slower, but that always sort of happens. But
I was going to ask you that actually. You said to us before, you said it was like 8 minutes something a mile or something.
8:52 minute miles, average. That's what it worked out at.
So generally, do people go, I go quick out the blocks and then they'll slow and then they'll go faster? Or is everyone pretty different? They'll go.
I think with an ultra, you'd be stupid to go quick because it's so far.
Yeah.
You've got to pace it. Yeah. So I always with ultras, I always try and take it easy and sort of ease into it. Like sometimes you walk the hills as well to maintain your energy.
Right.
And but then like a 5k, so like a park run.
Yeah.
You might try and run that as hard as you can because it's a short distance.
Yeah.
But like marathon and ultras and even half marathons, you want to get the right pace because I've done it loads of times where you go too quick and you blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long have you actually been running? Because you weren't always a runner, were you?
No, so I've been running 15 years. So I started, I'm 40, so about 24. But yeah, 15 years, yeah.
Was it just like, I need to get fit, I need to go out?
No, so I ran a bit at school, like cross country, and then I was working in London, and a guy I was working with in advertising basically ran. He was a massive runner, and he basically just said, "Do you want to do a marathon?" So I was like, "Okay, yeah, fancy marathon." So within 4 months, just trained for my first marathon, and then did it. And then he was doing these ultra marathons as well. And then the year later, I did my first ultra. So his name's James Elson. He runs a company called Centurion Running, which actually has lots of ultra marathons in the UK.
Right.
And has got an online store.
Okay.
So he left media to do that. And so he actually got me into running. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And when I described you the other day, it's like, I went, we were talking and I said, you're a really, really good runner. And you went, well, I'm not really. Is that like
no.
where you come from? Some people might describe me as a really good golfer, but I say I'm not.
Yeah.
Right? Is that just your perception? Because I don't run whatsoever, really. And I think you're amazing. But someone who's like a proper professional might think you're...
Yeah, I think there's loads of... So... Obviously, you've got people like Eliud Kipchoge, who's like who runs 2:01 for a marathon.
Yeah.
I would say I'm probably a good club runner.
Yeah.
So my best marathon time's 2:56:01. I've run 4 sub-3s, which is a sub-3 is classed as probably a high level runner.
Right.
So I'm good, but then I've got mates who run 2:30.
Right.
2:35 for a marathon. So I'd say I'm pretty good. I'm saying I'm average to good, but I'm not amazing. But there's loads of different levels. Like I was watching the Southend 10k on Sunday, and those guys are knocking out a 10k. The leaders are knocking it out in 30 minutes. Whereas my best is like 37.
Right. Okay.
But I'd say I'm like probably a good club runner. Yeah.
It's mental, isn't it? Those numbers are mental to me. Like,
Yeah.
What,
So
30
if you think,
I don't think I could do 5K in 30 minutes, to be honest.
mate, if you think about 10K in 30 minutes, that's 5 minute mile. So each mile's 5 minutes.
Yeah. And keeping that up consistently.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. So yeah, it's very. Some of these guys are very impressive, but then they're still not good enough to be professional.
Yeah.
So if you look at the Olympic marathon qualifying time in the UK, I think you have to run under 2:10, so 2:08, 2:09.
Just to qualify.
Yeah, just to qualify. Then you've got the best marathon runners in the world. They're running like between 2 and 2:05, and so those guys who I was just saying who run 30-minute 10K, their marathon time, they don't do marathon, some of them do. Their marathon's probably about 2:20,
Yeah.
2:25.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different levels, like in golf, like as you were saying, like I think you wanted to, at one stage you wanted to be a professional golfer. There's so many differences, isn't there?
Oh, I mean,
In terms
with
of
There's difference
golf,
between good and great. Isn't
with golf, I think it's a bit different. Like everyone, once you get to a certain level, everyone could on their day
Yeah.
could beat everyone.
Yeah.
Like say, our friend Matt Southgate, he's on tour.
Yes.
On my day, maybe I could have beaten him, but probably like once out of 100.
Yeah.
It's just that sort of consistency that you need to be
Yeah.
like a decent golfer, and most of that is mental, I think.
Yeah. But then even you look at Matt Southgate and then you look at Rory McIlroy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah.
like there's this, and Dustin Johnson, like there's different levels, isn't there?
Yeah.
And then you look at guys who are really good amateurs, even scratch golfers.
Yeah.
They're still there's different levels, isn't there?
Yeah.
I did actually see on socials. They did a test. Do you see the
Oh,
on
yeah,
a
I've seen
running
it on the
machine?
treadmill, yeah.
It was a treadmill. They set it to. Did the guy break the marathon record? Is that right?
Yeah, you've got to run at his pace, and the guys were flying off
Yeah,
the back.
like literally,
Yeah.
like after about 20 seconds, they just couldn't
just couldn't
handle
hack
it.
it.
Couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
He was doing it for like 2 hours or so.
Yeah, they do that at the London Marathon Expo. You turn up and they've got a treadmill. You can try it.
And it's going at
Yeah,
the pace.
it's probably not the best thing to do 2 days before a marathon. Yeah,
Face plant
injure
it.
yourself. Right,
Yeah.
I bet people have done that and got injured. Throw yourself off a treadmill.
So I'm curious to know at what point
Yeah.
in your running sort of career
Yeah.
did the whole Happystride thing come to sort of as an idea to you?
So yeah, running 15 years. So Happystride's been going 5 years. So about 6 years ago, working advertising in London. So worked in advertising 22 years. But 6 years ago, read the book Shoe Dog, which is as you guys probably know, it's the
Nike
story of
story.
Nike. Really good business book by Phil Knight, and highly recommend it to anyone who wants to get on in business. It's so inspiring, and it's basically talks about him starting Nike, selling trainers out of his garage, to what Nike is now, the huge unicorn brand it is. And so I read that book, and I was literally, my wife Sam, she works in advertising marketing as well. We've all sort of spoke about wanting to do something and for ourselves. And so after reading that book, I was thinking I want to do something to do with running, which is obviously what I'm passionate about. So I was standing at a park run. I saw a picture of a park run after, and it was me and a few others on the front of the park run. And I noticed we all had black shorts on. I just started thinking, is there anyone specialising in colourful running shorts? So after a bit of research, looked into it, and there wasn't really anyone in the UK doing that. I was like, this is it. This is what we can do. And Sam's like job is like social media. So we sort of decided that it was going to be like an online brand, e-commerce first, social media first. So obviously put a lot of thinking around it. But to give you an example, we came up with the name Happystride because running really helps my mental health. And as we say, Happystride, running makes me happy. And that was like the core of Happystride, and really wanting to. So that's how we came up the name, being happy. Running makes me happy. Happystride.
So that was actually, I was going to ask you, that was on purpose. It wasn't like, oh, we just made up the name
No,
Happystride and it merged into that mental health thing. It was actually like,
Yeah. So from day one, we've supported mental health charities. We make a donation from every product sold to a mental health charity. So this year we're supporting Calm, campaign against living miserably, and that's at the core of what Happystride is. We believe that running and fitness, exercise, movement really does help your mental health. So we donate to mental health charities, but also we're looking to inspire happy running, movement and fitness. But yeah, so I suppose it was 9 years into my running journey that we launched Happystride. Yeah.
you started doing the Wim Hof stuff as well.
Yeah, I've been doing probably about 1 or 2 years ago. I know, Paul, you do it.
Yeah, I do it loads.
It's I read his book basically, and part of my morning routine is a run every morning, because it really does.
Will you religiously run every morning? Is that your?
I run 6 to 7 days a week. I probably take a day off every few weeks.
Right.
So unless I've done a race that ultra, so obviously you've got to come off that and before. But running in the morning really does set me up for the day, and then adding in the Wim Hof stuff, so the cold shower, the breathing and all that stuff, that really does help me. Like now, like the running and the Wim Hof stuff, like I think it's brilliant, like absolutely brilliant. I don't know where I'd be without it, to be honest. Say I don't run for a few days, I'll start getting a bit edgy.
Yeah. If I don't, I breathe and I go in a cold plunge every morning.
Yeah.
If I don't do it, then I wouldn't say it ruins my day, but I feel a bit weird, like I haven't like completed the day, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's almost like it's your routine, isn't it?
Yeah.
And once you've been doing it so much, it's hard. Even on holiday, like I take my trainers on holiday. I love going running on holiday before the breakfast buffet.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like I can't be. It makes you feel better about yourself, doesn't it? I think. But I think it's really important for people to have like a little routine like that. Even if I'm not saying people have to go for a run. I'm like, go for a walk, or as Paul said, doing the cold stuff and the breathing. It's not just about running.
Certainly early in the morning, I think first thing is a big thing as well, isn't it?
I think,
as you get older, you just end up waking up earlier.
I think the problem is as well, if you, I do run in the evening sometimes, but running in the morning, it's done. Because then if something comes up in the day or in the evening, it's easy
to put off, isn't it?
And I think, Paul, you just said about everyone, you wake up early as you get older. I go to bed earlier. Yeah. I like getting in bed at 9 o'clock.
Mate, I'm in bed watching TV at 8.
Yeah,
and I love. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I love, as you get older, you're more focused on what's going to make you feel good the next day.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
like your sleep is so important now, isn't it? Like like when you're young, you don't care. You're out drinking or whatever.
Yeah.
But sleep is another it's another performance metric, isn't it? Like a good night's sleep helps you perform better the next day in anything you do, doesn't it?
And what time do you go to bed?
I'm in bed by like 8.
Yeah,
Are you?
I love it. I actually look forward to it. It's like the best part of my day.
Yeah.
I get home, walk the dog, and then have dinner, have a bath, go to bed.
Yeah.
Literally it.
Yeah.
Is it?
I see this guy do a funny meme on it, and it was like, when you're younger, you talk like this about drinking, and he was like, but he's actually talking about sleep. He's going, I was at it all night.
Yeah.
I know we talked about, why didn't you why didn't you just go and get a job? You had a job, have a job.
Yeah. Yeah, so as I said, I was working in London, so Happystride started as a side hustle. And then then as the first 6 months actually of Happystride, we launched a pair of banana shorts and a pair of
I
parrots.
remember it was two designs.
And you said it wasn't going to work.
I did. Honestly, I absolutely did. And I will hold my hands up on camera. When you launched those on social media, I looked, what is that?
Yeah.
No one's going to buy those. And mate, I've got egg on my face.
Now you're wrapping the orders.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but the first 6 months, literally just sold to some friends, family, couple of randoms, didn't do any advertising. It was literally 2 pairs of shorts and didn't really know. It was just a basic Shopify store, just set up, obviously working full-time London. And then COVID happened and had a bit more time to work on it, but still working full-time. And then we launched a few more pairs of shorts. And then that's where it started to grow a bit more, but it's still very small numbers. And then basically about 6 months later, the company I was working for, we got sold to another company, and they offered me a job, but it wasn't the same job. It was the same money, but a different job. And I was a bit like, I don't really want to do that. So I took a settlement, and Polly was coming, our 3-year-old daughter. So I was a bit like, I'm going to take a bit of time out.
Yeah.
So I took 6 months out to concentrate on Happystride, and then the job I'm doing at the moment, which is 2 to 3 days a week, consulting, came about. So Happystride's always been a side hustle, and now it's more of like I suppose like a hybrid. It's like I do 2 to 3 days on the side and do Happystride. And I think it's been actually a bit of a blessing for me, because some people may say, well, I should be doing Happystride full time, but obviously working with you guys take part of, you take care of the fulfillment side and all the shipping coming, all the new stuff coming in. It's allowed me to grow Happystride quicker because I don't pay myself £1 out of Happystride. For 5 years, I haven't paid myself £1. Happystride actually owes me quite a lot of money. And because I've got my salary from my consulting 2 to 3 days a week, that pays my mortgage, my bills and everything. So everything we make with Happystride goes back into Happystride. So marketing, stock, innovation, growth. And I think if I was like the ultimate goal is I will be doing Happystride full time one day. But at the moment, I think it's quite a good balance, and it's allowed me to grow quicker, because if I was having to pay myself a certain wage out of Happystride, there's no way we would have grown it as quick as we have.
No, I actually think that's a massive thing for you. Like, it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Like when we were trying to grow Strings Direct, there was us two. There was actually another 2 directors. There was Dad and another guy.
Yeah. And
we were all taking money out of it. And there was really, unless we wanted to take less, which no one really wanted to, like it was really hard to grow, because there was no funds left to really like put into marketing, take a risk or anything. Plus, when there was four of us as well, every little thing we had to sit down, have a meeting like this for an hour, and then all it took is one person to go, I think that needs a bit of thinking about, and it never happened.
Yeah. I think it's almost like the modern way of running a business.
Yeah.
It's like it's a modern way of running a business. And some people might argue and say, well, you're not in it every day, but Happystride's 24/7.
Yeah, totally.
Like your weekends, you're working on Happystride. Your evenings, you're working on Happystride. When I'm not doing my job in London, I'm working on Happystride, and it's you're thinking about it. You think about it every day. So I would argue against it, and it works really well for me. And that would be one of my pieces of advice to anyone starting their own business or e-commerce store. Start it as a side hustle, and then and then see how it goes, because it's a bit less risk as well.
Yeah.
You're not putting all your chips in.
Yeah.
And Happystride, I'm fingers crossed it's going to keep going and be a success. But if Happystride dropped tomorrow, I've sort of kept myself in the other game.
Yeah.
Like I've still got the same contacts and all that sort of stuff, and I think that's quite valuable.
Yeah. No, we were talking yesterday and talking about building a business around your passion as well.
Yeah.
And I said to you, there's mixed advice out there.
Yeah.
A lot of people say do it.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's something you can really put your all into
Yes.
and you love doing. But obviously other people, there's two schools of thought. Others would say, well, you know, if you're doing something that you love and then all of a sudden it becomes a real chore, then you might resent that thing you love eventually.
Yeah.
But you were saying about that you don't really see it, whilst it is a passion, it's not like your full-time job. You know, you're not a professional, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I'm passionate about running, and I think that is good because it drives me. And I go to a park run or I go to a race and I see lots of people in Happystrides, and that makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
And it's like to see that, you know, like Paul said, driving on the seafront, you see people running in Happystrides. That makes you feel good. And I think, as I said yesterday, if I was running as a professional runner, then I think that's what it is. But I think with Happystride, it is running, but it's a part of running.
Yeah.
And Happystride is also a business. It's e-commerce. It's all of these other different things as well. So it's not fully. But I personally do think if you are starting a business, it's got to be something you're into.
Yeah.
It's got to be something you're passionate about for when times are tough, because that sort of drives you on. Like what drives me on is how we're inspiring happy running, movement and fitness, and how we're seeing our community at races, and so that's what drives me in some of the low times. All of those things we're doing, and I was saying it yesterday. One thing we never see is, because our stuff is colourful and it's cool, colourful, functional gear. We don't see people opening it up when it comes through the door, but we get a lot of feedback and we get reviews, and lots of our customers email us and messages. Our stuff actually makes people happy. Our clothing makes people happy, and that's a really nice thing for Sam and I to know.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good that you're making people happy.
That was a great story you told us about the park run thing. I'm not sure where it was. It Swansea or something?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell that story. It was really good.
Yeah, so there's a woman called Natalie Williams, massive Happystride fan. She's probably got about 25 orders or something like that. And what she does is she runs the Swansea Park Run most weeks. I think she's done about 300 Swansea Park Runs.
Right.
She's done a few others as well. And she basically told me that every week, she actually posts every day she runs on a story in Happystride. Right. But what she does at Park Run is at the end of Park Run, she gathers her friends who've got Happystrides on, and so basically if it's not your local park run, you're called a park run tourist.
Right,
so if I went and done Swansea Park Run, I'm from Southend, I'd be a tourist. She basically goes, anyone in Happystrides, or she goes up to them, and she always gets a photo at the end with everyone in their Happystrides. And we see that quite a lot. We see it at Southend Park Run. You see 10, 11, 12 people standing in a row with their Happystride shorts on.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier on, I drive my daughter to school down the seafront, and without fail, I will see 5 to 6 people running with Happystride on, which that's mind blowing, really.
Yeah. There's a big local community, and I think if you Happystride started local, but it's national now with the power of Meta and Google and those channels. But the thing about Happystride is, because it's colourful, if you get a local hub of people wearing it, and they're all together, people who don't wear it, they do want it, they look at it and they go, oh, where did you get that from?
Yeah.
And it spreads quite quickly. And it's almost like locally, it's become like a local cult. It's like a group, people want to be in the Happy Running Club.
Yeah.
Do you want to be part of the Happy Running Club?
Is that a rhetorical question?
Yeah. Well, you guys need to get involved. So yeah.
I've got a pair.
I think you've got a pair of Hectic Geometrics from memory.
I have.
I remember you ordered your wife Jade a pair of leggings, didn't you?
Yeah. That was like, how do you remember that? It's like a year ago.
Because weirdly, as you said, you were thinking about my golf swing in the shower last night. I put on a pair of Hectic Geometrics this morning and a Neo Geometric t-shirt. So that's the green and blue Hectic pattern and the pink. And I was running along and I thought, Paul's got a pair of them. I don't know why I thought that, because I do remember when before we even started talking about fulfillment and stuff, Paul, you ordered those 2 items.
They're multi-purpose. I wear them in the sauna.
Do you actually wear them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
So, curious, you were talking about the designs there.
Yeah.
How do these all come? Because how have you got now?
Too many. We've probably got, don't know, 50, 60 on our website. But obviously that's across lots of different products. But yeah. And what we do is now we phase out designs each year.
Yeah.
There's still quite a few, like the ones Paul bought, Hectic Geometric. They've been going about 3 or 4 years. If they're popular, we keep them going. Like
of course.
Sprinkle of Joy, Hectic Geometric, Cheetahs always win. Like they've been going a couple of years, and I think the good thing about Happystride, they're not, versus a lot of other fashion brands, is they're not. A lot of them aren't on trend. They don't go out of fashion.
Yeah.
Like people are wearing the Hectic Geometric 3 or 4 years later.
Yeah.
Like we've got like a few camouflage pairs, camo pairs. They were a bit of a trend.
Yeah.
So we do.
So you're monitoring those all the time, seeing what's...
Yeah, because you can't have, we've got to be careful. We can't end up having 200 designs because it's just not good for managing the inventory as well.
Yeah.
So...
And people, that's the thing we were saying, like, you've got the lady Natalie in Swansea.
Yeah.
You say she's got like 25 pairs or something like that. These people are fans and they want to see new things all the time as well, because they want to...
They want to see new designs.
They want to see new designs all the time, because otherwise, that keeps them involved in the community, doesn't it, as well?
And different types of products as well keeps them involved. But so each year we bring out a selection of new designs, but we've also got to be careful with that as well, because we're going to run out of ideas.
Yeah.
So like a few designs each year, but I suppose one thing that at the core of Happystride is something we've always said is we want the community to be involved. So we're all about inspiring, as I've said many times already, happy running, fitness, and our social media, our organic channels are all about posting pictures of our community when they're doing their races or park runs, posting inspiring quotes to inspire them, giving them tips. We've done tips in the run up to the marathon, and we've done Instagram lives with running coaches, but also bringing that community on the journey. Yeah. So what we do now is every year, going back to the design piece, is we post every year now saying, what designs do you want to see next?
Yeah.
So they're almost coming on the journey with us, giving us what they want. So for next year, we've already got the designs ready for next year, which we'll be ordering November time, launching Feb, March for spring. So then they're ready for the marathon season in the summer. We picked 5 of those ideas from the community.
So did you put a poll up of like so many?
No. So we say, mate, we did a Facebook post, and Facebook's the best channel for comments. It's better than Instagram. More people comment on Facebook, and no joke, we must have had about 30 to 40 ideas from them. And then Sam and I have also got our own ideas. And then we picked 5 of those. We just picked 5 of those ourselves. And we haven't told the community which ones they are, but then they will know when they come out.
Yeah.
And the way we actually pick our designs for each year is I have a sheet. I run a sheet on my computer, on my laptop. And as we go through the year, if we come up with an idea, I add it to the sheet. So we don't just sit down at one point and go, we need to think of ideas. So it literally starts each year. So I've now got a sheet for 2026. The 2025 designs are pretty much done, unless we want to be reactive with something.
Yeah.
Like the Welsh design this year, that came from a customer who said, "I'm doing the New York Marathon. Have you got a Welsh pair?" And we thought that's a good idea. Launch them. Anyway, so what we do is we put to say we're walking down the. I'll give you an example. A design we did this year called "We Like to Party" actually came from the Chelmsford public toilets. So Sam and I are in Chelmsford on the high street.
Yeah.
And there was this pattern on the wall, and we were like, "How cool does that look?" So then that was an inspiration for We Like to Party. So that's how we put our designs together. So it's all throughout the year, and also using our community.
Are you going to get sued by the council now for public toilet design?
No. But we use it as inspiration. We don't copy people. We don't copy designs. Yeah.
So I always thought, like, when you first started, it was a real ballsy move to actually like get your own stuff made.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause obviously with our business, we sell guitar strings. And we're mainly a reseller of other people's brands.
Yeah.
So obviously, creating your own brand, and you've never really run a business before in your life.
No.
You've just gone and sourced stuff from to import.
Yeah.
I was going to say that is a ballsy move. I think certainly in your first foray into business.
Yeah.
How's that? Have you found that sort of dealing with people and bringing your own stuff in is obviously quite risky?
I think, as I said, it started off as a side hustle, as a project, and now it's obviously grown into what it is. I think. There's pros and cons. I think we talk about this quite a lot. Obviously, the pros with what you guys do is you're selling well-known brands. So when someone lands on your site, they've heard of it.
Yeah.
Whereas a brand like Happystride, which is 5 years into its journey, is still a very small brand. It's not very well known.
Yeah, it's unknown in real time.
But I suppose what we're doing is we're building a brand, aren't we? We're building a brand, and if we talk about the pros, you get better margins because you're making your own product, and if you're selling for your own e-commerce site, you own that relationship with the customer, and I suppose you're building something, but the cons are when someone searches for you, you've got to pay more to convert them. But once you get them in, it's cheaper. But you've got to pay initially. You've probably got to pay more to convert them. But I suppose
because you're up against Nike and
because you're up against Nike, Adidas, Gymshark, who everyone's heard of. But it was quite a ballsy thing to do. But I think my advice to anyone who wants to start something e-commerce, I think it's harder, but I think that's probably a better route to go down with margins and everything. But building a brand is hard. It's hard.
I agree with that. I mean, like we're a reseller.
Yeah.
We're getting our stuff from the UK. I think we talked about this before. I don't think you can really grow a business properly at the moment, e-commerce wise, if you're buying and selling, if your margins aren't of a certain size. If you're buying something for a tenner and selling it for 15, when you start, you're literally going to make the cost of business, rents, rates, marketing, employees, you're not going to be making anything.
You've got just so much volume.
I mean, the Strings Direct is okay. It's pretty good because we're doing mass volume. We're doing 150, 200 orders a day. If that went down to 50, we'd have a problem.
Yeah, I think the great thing about your business is as well, it's 25 years old. You've got heritage, you've got legacy, and you guys are the leader in that space. And when you got into it at the infancy of e-commerce, the start of e-commerce. You got into it, so you've literally owned that space for 25 years. So you've got a plethora, a whole host of thousands of people who know your brand. But interestingly, a question back to you guys: would you start Strings Direct now in this time? It would probably be a lot harder.
It would be a lot harder. Probably not. I would say because of going back to the passion thing, we sort of got into Strings Direct because our dad started it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's fair to say that guitar is completely like our passion. We play.
We both play, but not to a. We're not like gigging musicians, and we're not out there every week playing. So yeah, whilst it's a nice hobby, it's not sort of that passion that maybe you have with running.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Strangely enough, I was watching this. Alex Hormozy. He had a video, and he was sort of saying, I can't remember. It was probably a few months ago. So and I can't remember the title of it, but he was basically saying that we might be in the business of selling strings. You might be in the business of thingy, but actually, you're in the sales and marketing business. You're using marketing to get sales.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter to a certain extent what, you're not actually in the business of selling strings. That's what you're in.
Yeah.
And so it's you could really be in anything.
It doesn't matter what you're saying.
No.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I think it helps a bit if you if you're passionate about it. But I think when you guys started as well, I remember Paul saying that you were getting you were doing it before you even launched a website. Well, you were selling on the phone, and I think that is the key. I think if you started Strings Direct now, it would be so much harder
I think
than when it was 25 years ago.
I'll be honest with you, I think it'd be a failure no matter how hard you pushed it because
Amazon
are a massive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of lucky for us in a way because you could buy loads of stuff off Amazon. There's also quite a big movement in our industry about people selling counterfeit strings.
Yeah.
So I think that's a lot of the reason why people deal with us because you come to us, you know that you're going to get the exact authentic, the real deal set.
Yeah.
And with a set of strings, to be honest with you, because they're just a bit of metal at the end of the day, it's really easy to fake them. And the only time you actually know they would be fake is if you've got a bit of experience, put them on the guitar, and they're rubbish basically.
Yeah.
So
people do that.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like just for a $5, for the things that are like a $5 or a tenner, people are out there sort of faking it. You would have thought, like, obviously handbags and stuff like that, where they sell them for thousands, you kind of think, oh, well, they get a bit.
But I think they're shrewd. They're getting into the consumables. So there might be a tenner a set, but someone might use 20 sets a year,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think you're right. It would be much, much more difficult because actually back then, the margins were good as well.
But it is probably harder starting your own brand versus selling other people's
Definitely.
stuff.
But the harder it is, the better the returns are going to be.
Reward,
absolutely.
But my margins are, we've discussed this, are better than yours, but it costs me more to get a customer than you guys.
Plus your ordering process is riskier than ours.
Yeah, so for example, I'll order and it will take probably 6 to 7 weeks to be in your warehouse versus you correct me if I'm wrong, you could order today and it would, obviously it's Friday today, but you could order on a weekday and get it the next day.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I have to predict and forecast.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is quite tricky.
And cash flow intensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of you have to pay up front.
I pay 60% deposit. No, sorry, pay 40% deposit and 60% on final payment. So 40% of the cash has left my bank for 6 weeks.
Yeah. Whereas we typically would get 30 days.
We could actually sell the stuff before we've even paid for it, essentially.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is what Costco do, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, but their margins are like 1, 2, 3, 4% or something like that.
That's true. I heard
but again, they're so
they've got
massive. That their turnover is so big that the 1 or 2% is actually really big.
It's like cheaper the product, smaller the margin, isn't it? That's what I say about supermarkets.
Yeah.
They're all like running on like 2% margin, 3% margin.
But so for every £100, they're getting like £2 or £3.
Yeah, but they're selling so much.
Yeah, how many of those £100 are they doing in a day? So yeah.
And marketing, we touched on Facebook and Meta marketing. What's worked for you?
So I think organic, I'll talk about organic and then paid. Organic, as I said, it's the core of Happystride. It's all about the community.
Yeah.
So we've actually posted across Facebook, Instagram every day for 3 years.
Right.
Haven't missed a day. So as I said, that's all about posting content of our community, inspiring quotes, products, videos, etc. So that's that. So anyone who follows Happystride, each morning they wake up and there's going to be something there. So I think that's really important. That's one piece of the jigsaw. And then paid, what's worked for us is Meta, which is, for those who are not aware, Meta is the holding company, owns Facebook, Instagram. And for us, it's the best discovery platform because there's 50 million people on Meta in the UK. And as you guys know, our brand is, a lot of our products are colourful. So when people are scrolling, it disrupts their feed.
Yeah.
And being able to use the AI, so they have Advantage Plus. So there's a few ways of targeting. Advantage Plus, where you give the machine your money, and it basically uses pixel data off your website. So it looks at the person who's ordered and goes and finds similar people, and it's really scalable. And then also interest targeting, so targeting people who are interested in running, interested in fitness, etc. So that's worked really well for us. And then also dynamic retargeting. So Lee goes on the website, looks at the Santa Banter shorts, doesn't purchase them, but then goes on Facebook and he gets an ad for Santa Banter shorts. I just think that is so clever.
Yeah.
So Meta has really scaled Happystride, and then and it's each year we've been able to spend more and still get a good return on ad spend. But more you spend, the return on ad spend does go slightly down, but we've been able to scale it. And each year, because we've got more customers, more users, more data, Meta lets us spend more but still get a good return.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Google, as we spoke about yesterday, Google is a lower funnel, so people are searching and they know what they want. And the thing for Happystride, the problem with that is we're against Nike, Adidas, Gymshark, who've got huge budgets. So the shopping ads at the top, they're more likely to click someone they know. But we do a bit of PMax, which is the AI, which runs a bit everywhere. We do a really small amount of budget just to get people onto the site. And also it helps our Meta, because Meta can retarget those people once they've gone on our website. And then TikTok we've tried, didn't really work, but we probably will go back to it again one day. And then all of the other things like email marketing. So, I was saying yesterday, our email list 2 years ago was 800 people. It's now 18,000 people. So that is, that's a really powerful tool. Trustpilot, I think this is one of the things we work with you guys. I always used to look at your incredible amount of reviews. You've got like 45,000.
50,000 now.
Here he is, 50,000. Rated excellent.
5 stars.
And I remember I always used to talk to you guys about 5-star, which is absolutely amazing. I remember I always used to talk to you guys about, should I pay for the Trustpilot?
Yeah.
So I took the leap about a year ago, and I think that really actually helps. So a new, especially a brand, we're talking about a brand that no one's heard of.
Yeah.
Joe Blogs lands on our site, never heard of us. If they see 1,500 reviews, we're 4.8 rated excellent, that's really going to help someone make that decision to make the purchase. And then, so I think marketing, the core is Meta for us, but all of the other little things, even posting organically, sending emails, we're going to start looking into SMS, but more only send a few SMSs, not lots like email, because it's more intrusive, it's more personal, but you've got to be aware of new channels as well. But all of these different parts of the ecosystem, really, you can't just do a post and send an email. I feel like you've got to be doing lots of different things to help. And I think one thing on top of the marketing to say about marketing is, if you're a new e-commerce brand, is, I said it to you guys yesterday, like I did the numbers. This year we spent 34% of our turnover on marketing, and 32% of that is Meta. And you've got to be prepared. This is a difference between being a brand and selling other brands.
Yeah.
You've got to be prepared. If you're building a brand, you've got to be prepared to do that, to get that traffic to your site, build up that customer base. But it all snowballs, and I feel like that gets each year that gets easier. But you've got to be prepared to spend a huge amount of your money, your turnover on advertising. I think that's, some people wouldn't be comfortable with that. And I am quite comfortable with that.
Yeah, no,
and the money goes out the door, and I'm like, okay, but as long as I'm getting the return.
Yeah, of course. Because a lot of people do see marketing
as an expense.
I don't, but I think it's also because I've worked in marketing.
Yeah.
Let's say, how much does your job, or has it helped? You know,
It has helped because
is it a different kind of advertising?
Yeah, so I've worked in mobile advertising. I work in out of home advertising at the moment. So I talk to a lot of brands directly. Like on Wednesday, I had a meeting with Sony Pictures,
Right.
the client. So it does help because it also actually, now I'm working on Meta and Google myself. It actually helps that job as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when I go and talk to them, they go, "Oh, I'm doing Meta." I'm like, I know how that works because I do Meta in my other job.
Yeah.
But I think that's one thing I'd say to people starting a brand. You really got to be comfortable, unless you're a brand who gets a lucky break, where Joe Wicks dances on the beach in your shorts or something like. But that doesn't happen anymore. Like, I think people always talk about, to me, they go, "Oh, give Mo Farah a pair of shorts. He's sponsored by Nike.
Yeah.
He's not going to wear my shorts." Like 10 years ago, that was when Gymshark started. That was when influencer marketing was.
That's how he grew it, right?
That's how he did it. That was when it was at its height. But now, it's so hard to get someone to wear your shorts. And really, you've got to have someone who's got 1 million followers.
Yeah.
Not someone who's got 20,000 followers. And we've tried it with people. We've given people who've got 20,000 followers, they post, doesn't do anything. That's my personal opinion.
No, I agree.
But everyone's different. Like we've sent pairs to Stacey Solomon, Joe Wicks has it, but it's great they've got them, but they've never posted them. And I don't expect them to post them because their Instagram is their business.
Yeah. Surely you've got to pay these people. You go through, these days you'd have to go through an agency and
Correct.
go, like, oh, they'll do it, but it's 10 grand for the post or whatever.
So I think those days are gone, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're monetising it, whereas 10 years ago they weren't.
Yeah, and a lot of these people are starting their own brand. They've got their own brand, haven't they?
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how the SMS goes, because I know we sort of not butted heads about this, but I am against it a little bit.
Yeah.
I won't say I'm against it, right? So I think it works in certain things. I think e-commerce, where you're selling something to someone, like a brand, I'm not sure it works. Where it might work is like personal stuff, like I get a text from my hairdresser or something and go, "Oh, you're due a hairdresser or my dentist or whatever," and you go, "Oh yeah, I am," So that, I think it works that way. I'm always up for a risk, so I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Don't
The thing
do it,
is,
but I'd be really interested to see if it works.
we're not even doing it yet. We're only starting to collect people's numbers if they want to sign up, but it doesn't hurt trying. It's like we tried TikTok, it didn't work. I think it's very different to email because, as I said, it's intrusive.
Yeah.
Like we probably send 2 to 3 emails a week, but you couldn't send 2 to 3 text messages a week.
No.
It's like you probably send maybe one a month.
Yeah.
Or something like around a big ticket, around Black Friday, you send a text message to cut through everything else. But going back to the celeb thing, we won't name them, but we did have quite a big celeb buy some stuff the other day, didn't we? And they actually messaged us on social media and they paid for that stuff. And like, when you get stuff like that, that does make you feel really good because they've actually bought that with their own money, and
They could easily have reached out and gone,
give us it for free.
Yeah, exactly.
And this person, it just shows, what type of person they are. But that's just really nice. And then we don't expect them to post. They're never going to post. But well, they might post, you don't know. But what's nice is that person is walking around in our shorts with their friends, and that's pretty cool.
I think that's your strongest brand building sort of stream, if you want to call it like that. You know, people that are walking around in your shorts, getting people in your shorts is what's going to grow the company.
They're like every person who wears a pair of Happystride shorts is a walking billboard.
Yeah, absolutely,
Aren't they?
Yeah, totally.
And especially when they're in an environment where they're with other similar people, like a park runner or a race or a runner.
Yeah.
But we get so many messages going, oh, I saw this person wearing your shorts, asked them where I got them, and they bought them.
I think that's also...
Where's my affiliate discount?
Yeah. And it's like, the thing about it is, as I said, each year it gets a little bit easier because it's snowballing. You think about it, I think we posted the other day, we've done 30,000 orders. That's not 30,000 pieces. I don't know how many pieces we've sold. We may have sold 40,000 pieces because some people buy two pairs, blah, blah, people buy presents. But you think in the UK right now, so there's 40,000 pieces of Happystride walking around. When that gets to 100,000 pieces, it's going to get easier for me because it's just out there more. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And what you were saying about having your job as well at the moment.
Yes.
Just going back to that of like, you're able, because that 34%.
Yeah, I was actually going to touch on that.
You've got to reinvest.
Yeah.
That wouldn't even scratch the surface if you were taking the
so
money out.
basically, I could pay myself out of Happystride right now, but then I might spend 20% on advertising.
Yeah.
This is what I mean about growing quicker.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the more people are wearing the shorts, like you said, we were talking about how much you could grow. We were talking about this yesterday, weren't we, in the office, how much you could grow. And you were saying you wanted to do X amount next year.
Yeah.
And you were sort of like not sure whether you could do it. I honestly think you could do it.
Yeah.
Because I think you've got your job situation, right? And not to blow smoke up your ass, but I know you, and I know you're like laser focused, which puts you in sort of like the top 1%. You're before 95% of the competition because most of them are just messing around with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that is, you know, the running helps me with business.
Yeah.
Like it takes a lot of effort to run a 50k race and train for that race, and I think that's the other thing about running. It helps every aspect of my life, and running makes me sort of show I am a driven individual. Like in advertising, I've worked in sales. Like I'm target driven. I'm like I like the pressure in sales. Like, and I think that's the same thing with Happystride. I have a board in my little office at home where I write up every day how much money we do.
Yeah.
And I know all the numbers in terms of what our biggest day was, what we did last year in this month, and I'm always comparing. And I also, another little tip I'd give to people is I write a log of the year. So each month I write what we did in that month. So then say October, I write down exactly what we've done in terms of promotions and new products and when we've launched them. So then when I come to October next year, I've got a comparison.
So you'll know, we did X amount
so
that
I know
day
we launched,
because...
Yeah, so I know we launched the Xmas launch last Friday. So I put that down. So last year we launched it on the 18th of October. This year we launched it on the 4th of October.
Right.
Yeah, that is correct. So I know all those numbers. I'm very into the numbers. Like but it's just, you're right. Like I'm hungry. I'm hungry for it.
But that's why going on to the, like what we do, your fulfillment.
Yeah.
That's why how do you put it? We're quite picky about who we deal with.
Yes.
Because of how our pricing structure is, you only pay for what you send out, and all that sort of stuff. So if we work with someone and they're just literally like not that bothered and all their stock's sitting there, we don't get paid.
Yeah.
So we want to work with individuals like you that are driven, because I think it just makes a great sort of ethos and culture that we actually want you to win because we're going to win as well.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation.
More orders we do, more money you guys make. 100%. And to say, obviously, I think one of the best moves we've made is working with you guys, because I know we bumped into Paul. We bumped into each other at Tesco end of my road, and we've spoke a bit. Like sometimes I'd message you going, "Oh, have you got any tips or whatever?" And you'd say no, because I always do. I was always in sort of in awe of you guys, like as in like I really respect what you guys have done with Strings Direct, and moving in with you guys is, and I'm not just saying this for the camera, but it's been one of the best things we've done, because.
And he means us doing your fulfilment, not physically moving in with us.
I don't live with them, so I knock on Paul's door once a week. But
over the fence.
Yeah. There's the stuff, mate. See you later. But we had a bit of a problem where Happystride was taking over 3 rooms in our house. I remember one Christmas, I was running around the house doing these orders, going up to the post office, and there were boxes everywhere. And I remember Sam just looking at me going, "What is going on?" And basically I was like, right, okay, we need a solution here. So
what were your options at that point, just out of interest? What were you thinking?
Looking at a unit.
Yeah.
So
fulfilment hadn't even crossed your mind, sort of thing.
No. So I remember looking with Sam's dad, who's an estate agent. We actually looked at a unit opposite you guys in the library gardens.
Yeah.
And the price of it as well was pretty hefty monthly. Yeah. So we looked at that, and then literally, I don't know how it worked. I bumped into Paul, and they say in life everything happens for a reason. I bumped into Paul at the end of Tesco's on the road, and he goes, "I've got a business idea for you, mate." And then
that doesn't sound like you.
Yeah, something like that. And then just walked off, and then got messaged him, and then we moved in April last year, and like obviously it's the fear of the unknown, like anything in life. Like if you're always a bit apprehensive. I'm sure you guys are apprehensive, because obviously I was your guinea pig, your first client. So, but I remember thinking, oh God, there's gonna be less time. I spent quite a lot of time wrapping orders. What am I going to do and all that? But it's been the best thing ever, because one, we've been able to grow more because we can stock more, and you do need more stock to sell more. It's a fact, and there's only so much you can stock in your house. 2, you guys are experts in your field. You've got 25 years experience in fulfillment. Everything's barcoded, everything's scanned. You guys are the experts in that, and it's more professional than what it was. It's the next stage on, and you look after all the stock, the new stock coming in, and the key is it's allowed me to focus on the growth of the business. So innovation, marketing, new products. And it's funny, a few weeks after, I was like, oh, that's going to be a lot of free time. But I'm more busy than ever now, because I'm not in the business. I'm focusing on the growth of the business, and that's the key. And then the final piece is, you guys obviously have got 25 years experience, and you, as you said, Paul, about more orders we do, more money you guys make, etc. And I think you guys are actually, I suppose we have actually known each other for a while, because we grew up on the golf course together, but you guys are mates, and I think it's you guys want to help me, and you guys have helped me a bit, like in advice in certain things around, like sometimes how to talk to customers, which I've got better at, and stuff like that. And I think that's been really, really good. And I think, to be honest, like some people would actually say, don't go into business with mates, but I think it's actually worked really well. But I think that would be, they would be my, the pros. And I think there's no way we'd be doing as much revenue as we would now if we hadn't have made the move into with you guys. Because and I think, but again, I talk about the jigsaw and the ecosystem. You're a piece of that jigsaw.
So it's not solely on us.
No, yeah, definitely not, mate. But and you've got the advertising, the community, everything else. But yeah, and I think any new brands looking at getting into working with a fulfillment centre like you guys, I think the great thing about you guys is you've got the e-commerce experience versus some people must just knock up a fulfillment centre who don't know anything about e-commerce.
Well, I think I told you this story that we were going to take Strings Direct into fulfillment maybe 10 years ago, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
And we started looking at companies and we were talking to people. We went down the road of almost signing with one company.
Yeah, we were very close. He took us to Spurs.
We were schmoozing us and everything. And
when are you taking me out?
Yeah. Cut that bit. And he it just got to the point where all these companies were so massive.
Yeah.
And it's like you've created this, like it's like giving your child, letting your child be looked after by like a childminder.
Yeah.
Right. And they had maybe 100, 200 different companies that they were doing fulfillment for. We were a number on a screen.
Yeah.
And I just felt if we give it to them, it's going to lose its identity.
Yeah.
And that's why we started Dispatch Bros, because going back to the Trustpilot thing, you look at all the Trustpilot reviews for Strings Direct. They don't really say, oh, the product's great. It's always about the service. And that was something that we latched on and go, right, we've got something that we can, help other people and we can obviously start a business and benefit ourselves. But we also don't want to have hundreds of different clients. We want a small group of great clients that we can have a personal relationship with. And the people that we've signed on since we started are the people that have bought into that idea, and we've bought into them as well. You know, we want them to grow, they want us to grow. A good B2B relationship works for both parties. It's not, if we're making loads of money and you're not making any money, then
I'll be sour very quickly.
I'll be the first to say, "What are you doing, Pete?" Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that is like I've told you guys, we get emails from other fulfillment centres quite a bit, but they're like massive fulfillment centres, like Jimmy from Leicester or whatever, who's, as you said, I think that is another key thing you just said there around like you're an indie, you're an SME, and you've got that family vibe, whereas you want 5, 6, 7 core clients.
Yeah.
You're not looking to have 100 clients. So I think it's a personable approach, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the local thing really helps as well. If I was thinking, oh, we're going to send all our stock for Strings Direct to somewhere, and someone from Scotland phoned me, I'd be like, no.
Well, you think about how many times I have to come in and get stuff and all that. I think I don't think I could have it too far away, to be honest.
We've been talking about the wins. Any regrets? Anything you've like gone, oh, why the hell did I do that?
I think people will say never have any regrets, because I think you've always got to be like testing and learning and trying new stuff. I think there's been a couple of products where shorts is the core of what we do. Like we've tried lots of different things, and shorts is always going to be the winner, I think, for us. But the Happy Hugs, which is like a snood we launched last year, didn't go well. We ended up selling them all, but they didn't go that well. And I think looking back, it's a very competitive space. And also, I think it was more of a COVID product, where people are at home, they're on the sofa, they want their blanket and stuff like that. So that they didn't go so well. And then caps as well, another product. We launched caps a few years ago. Again, very competitive. But yeah, so I think they would be. Sometimes we've launched a couple of products that haven't gone so well, but we've always sold out. But no regrets in terms of anything we've done within the business. And I think Paul, you talk about this. You've got to keep taking risks, and sometimes things don't work.
Yeah.
Like advertising on TikTok, spent a good few £1,000s on TikTok, didn't really work at all. But you've just got to go, okay.
It could have worked.
It could have worked, okay. Exactly, but you never know, will you, until you test it.
I always think if you do 10 things, you try 10 things and one of them comes off, right, that's a win.
Yeah.
Right, because that one thing might make you...
The long game is massive.
Thousands and thousands and thousands. Whereas if you just go, I'm not going to try any of them, then you're not going to make anything, are you?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'd say. Maybe some of the products we've launched.
But then again, I mean, that's, that Happy Hug it was quite niche, really, when it
Yeah.
wasn't like running shorts. I know
No.
they're running shorts, but anyone could wear the shorts, couldn't they?
No, exactly, yeah.
But the thing I do, I have said this about Pete with some of the things that, like the Happy Hugs as an example.
Yeah.
It was that you didn't let them sit around.
No, I discounted them, got rid of them.
Turning them into money.
Yeah, turn them into cash, get them off the shelves. I think the other problem with Happy Hugs is they're so big.
They were, yeah.
They cost a lot. I didn't think about how much they cost to post.
Yeah.
Right? How much they cost to post and the space they're taking up. Like you think a Happy Hug, probably about four or five pairs of shorts on your shelves.
Easy.
So, yeah, but we tried.
Can you hear the
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah, but we tried, but like to pivot on that, like this year we launched sunglasses, and you think about it, sunglasses and shorts, completely different things, and had to research that. Like there's lots of rulings around. Obviously, it's actually a medical, so you need certain certificates and stuff like that. And started researching that last August. Launched them in February, and they've actually done quite well this year. One thing I would say about sunglasses is everyone already pretty much owns a pair of sunglasses.
Yeah.
So you have got to cut through, but I think ours are at a good price. And the USPs, they're at a good price, and people can buy matching sunglasses to their shorts.
I think that's it.
They're
It complements
the USPs.
the outfit, doesn't it? People want to wear the full-on gear.
Yeah, and we've got some good news coming about our sunglasses soon. So you have got to take risks, but if you think about it, how different sunglasses are to shorts.
Yeah.
Very
Much
different,
more
aren't they?
competitive, I would imagine.
Yeah.
The market.
No, but as in a type of product to make.
Yeah.
But again, I think testament to yourself that you could easily have gone, I'm not even touching that space, to be honest. I'm not even going to go there. So,
but it makes up it's making up a small part. Like shorts is the core, and then a few bits round it. So
what is we talked about obviously, the future and
Yeah.
stuff. But have you got sort of goals, or do you kind of think of how far ahead do you think really?
I think it's more like we're obviously thinking about the next year. So we think about next year's designs, what products we're gonna launch and stuff like that. But I think our goal is to be the largest UK provider of running and fitness shorts. That is our goal. Maybe independent provider. So that is our goal. And I suppose on top of that, next steps would be things like international.
Yeah.
But we haven't really scratched. We've only just scratched the UK. I think there's so many more people who we can sell to in the UK, and I think it's really important to conquer your own market before you start going into other markets. And as you guys know, we've spoke about before that Brexit has made it a lot harder to sell internationally with taxes. And I think the other thing about clothing makes it tricky, because if someone buys a pair of shorts from France, they don't fit, they've got to send them back.
Yeah.
So the way for us to do international is
have
local distribution, like basically having you guys in France who...
Le dispatch, bro.
Yeah. Guys, there you go, there's an idea.
Dispatchos Brozos.
But I think you could just have one for Europe, because they're all in, they're all still in the European Union, aren't they? So you could have one that does all that. But I think for us, that's the goal in my head. It's actually written on my wall to be I write goals down, revenue goals, and I think I really do believe in manifesting. Like talking about it, thinking about it. So that is the goal.
Wonderful. Well, we wish you the best of luck for the future, and we're glad to be part of it.
Yeah.
No
And I'm really enjoying
small.
working with you guys, and thanks for having me on your ups and downs. But thanks for having me on your podcast.
Thanks, mate. Thanks
Cheers.
for playing.